Hey everybody, welcome to summer. More importantly, welcome to Summer Solstice. I'm Chris Young from Camping World and Gander RV and Outdoors. This is an event that we've never done before. But what we're going to do this weekend is we're going to take you through some tips and tricks on how to maintain your RV. More importantly, what type of RVs do we have? What might you like? What can you find? We got experts. We have speakers. We have information galore that's going to make sure that this year is the year of RV travel. So here in a few minutes, we're going to kick it all off with a very special panel of experts that are going to tell us what it's like to live full-time in an RV. What are some of the lessons they've learned? More importantly, what are some of the great stories that they can share with us from the road? And during the weekend, you're going to learn about travel trailers. You're going to learn about fifth wheels, motorhomes. We got giveaways. So be sure to register because you might walk away from this weekend with a brand new camper all of your own. And all you got to do is click that little register button that you're going to see on your screen. So we're going to learn about how to maintain your RV. We're going to learn what RV essentials do we need to make sure that this year of RV travel is the best that it can absolutely be. So when you pick the RV out that you want, we're going to make sure you get what you want. Panel of experts, a lot of fun. You're going to learn from the best in the business, and then we're going to end it all off tomorrow afternoon with a very special session from our CEO, Marcus Lemonis. That's one that you absolutely do not want to miss. So get buckled in. Got a great conversation coming up in just a few minutes. And then tomorrow, be sure to come back because Summer Solstice with Camping World and Gander RV and Outdoors is going to be one of the best events you're ever going to see online. And we can't wait to have you here.
What's the RV life really like? From homeschooling and working on the road to traveling with pets, there is a lot to consider before starting your RV adventure. Get your questions answered by the RV Pros, featuring Zach and Mary, who started their RV journey in 2020 on their cross-country turkey tour. James and Ashley, full-time RVers with their family of 4 since 2017. Heath and Alyssa, RVing since 2014. Expert RV entrepreneurs and proud new parents. Welcome to Summer Solstice. This is life in an RV.
All right, the summer solstice is here and this is the year of RV living. So why not take an opportunity to let you know what it's like to live full-time in an RV from the pros and experts who've been doing it for years. I'm Chris Young and I am so happy to be joined by my friends. We got Heath and Alyssa, Zach and Mary, and from the Chicks Life, James and Ashley. Hey guys, thanks for joining us here on the Zoom meeting. So tonight we're going to have ourselves a nice little chat about what it's like to live full-time in an RV. But what's also great is this is live. So we're going to have people streaming us questions live and we're going to be giving away $1,500 in RV gift cards. But here's how we're going to do it. We're going to do gift cards for $250 and then a friend of the winner is also going to get $250. So show of hands, who'd like to have that right about now? Yep, I feel you. So please, while we're here tonight, be sure to register, be sure to go in, submit that because I want you to win those gift certificates. But let's go ahead and dive right in. If you would, everybody kind of take a minute to kind of tell me, introduce yourself to the crowd. Tell me what type of RV you like, what, and where you're at right now. And I'm going to start with Heath and Alyssa. Hey guys.
What's up, Chris?
Hey, Chris.
What's going on?
Well, where we are right now, we're actually sitting in the middle of a vineyard up in Colorado. We're staying at a Harvest Host, which is where you can park your RV at wineries and breweries and cool places across the country. So that's where we are.
And we're in a Winnebago Forza, which is a big diesel pusher motorhome. We've actually been RVing since 2014, pretty much full time. And we're on the road with our 1-year-old daughter.
Yeah, we took a year off to have a kid, but yeah, now we're back on the road. Yeah.
That's beautiful. And you're at a winery. So that's awesome. Well, welcome. We're going to get you guys here in just a second. All right, Zach and Mary, gobble, gobble. What's happening?
Hello.
Okay, you can start.
Yeah, man. We neither one of us had ever owned a camper until the spring, and we took it turkey hunting for the whole season. So we left in March in South Florida, went all the way to Montana and back. So we probably are a good resource of what not to do because we learned things. But it was a lot of fun.
That's what we did do it.
Yeah, we were filming a show for the Outdoor Channel and we're navigating through the whole social distancing stuff, which was perfect for us because being in that camper and being out turkey hunting, it just gave us the perfect opportunity to be distancing but enjoying ourselves at the same time. So
Which is why, we did want to do this meeting via Zoom because, social distancing. I don't know if you guys would want to be around me anyway. So thank you so much for joining us. From the Chicks Life, I got James and Ashley. Hey guys, what's going on?
Hey guys. So sorry we dropped out there. We disappeared for a second.
That's okay. Tell me now, where are you guys right now and what type of RV do you have? How long have you been full-time RVing?
We've been full-timing for about 2.5 years. Almost three years. Oh my goodness. And we are in a Keystone Sprinter. It's a bunkhouse, the 293 FWBHS, if you want to get real specific.
There you go.
But since we have 2 kids, we wanted a separate kids room with a door on it and a bedroom for us up front, so that way we could have our space, even though we are in a tiny space. And right now we are in Washington at Moses Lake, hanging out, riding some dirt bikes, playing in the water.
That's beautiful. And the reason I wanted to have you guys join us tonight is because the kickoff to summer solstice is all about, tonight's session is all about the RV life. What's it like living in it? So we got folks who've been doing it for a while, folks who've been doing it for not a long while, and folks who've learned some of the lessons. So what do you say we start getting into some of the questions that people are asking us? And be sure to submit your question tonight, because that's your chance to win those gift certificates that I mentioned earlier. You got all the way through tonight's hour-long session to register and win. So right away, I want to ask Heath and Alyssa, why did you guys get started full-time RVing?
You want to take it? You or me?
We were getting married back in 2014. We were only 23, so we were young enough to think that we just wanted to go on some crazy adventure. We weren't worried about the financials or the logistics or actually making it happen. And we wanted to go to all 50 states. And Heath graciously agreed to what was a very crazy dream that I pitched him for our honeymoon. And he found out that buying an RV, which we bought one off of Craigslist, super sketchy, would be the best way for us to actually go visit all 50 states, 49 states. We didn't drive to Hawaii.
Yeah. So we bought a 1994 Coachman Leprechaun off Craigslist from a family. And we spent all 50 states. Kind of
I mean, I don't understand.
We always feel like you have to explicitly say that you RV'd to 49 states. We did take the Alcan Highway up to Alaska.
Yes.
And so that was an amazing road that we want to go back and do again, because you see so much incredible wildlife.
But at some point, I'm going to fly to Hawaii. I'm going to rent a camper van and I'm going to camp on a beach, and I will prove everyone.
I was actually going to say,
an RV in Hawaii.
I was actually even going to one up that and say that we should ship a Class B over there, because that's everyone's favorite joke. How'd you RV in Hawaii?
I mean,
but anyway.
I think if you get enough of those little arm floaties, maybe wrap it around the outside, you might be able to carry the weight. I'm not sure. I'd leave that for the maintenance section we're going to have tomorrow, but that's awesome. All right, Zach and Mary, I know you guys have been doing a lot of hunting. Why did you guys get started with the RV life?
It was kind of out of necessity. We were in Florida, and what happened was I quit my job for us to go do this deal, and we were packing the truck, and we realized pretty quick that we didn't fit in the truck. So we actually went and got a U-Haul, and we got to Florida, and our camera guy, us, and our dog, and we didn't fit in that either. And then we, everything started with the COVID, and we didn't have anywhere to stay. So it was like, well, we got to have something. And the travel trailer was where we started. So.
Yeah, the travel trailer. We thought it would be like, how cool would it be if we just threw everything aside and just went on a turkey hunting adventure across the country. For us avid outdoorsmen, that's like the dream. And
that's like a dream, yeah.
It was the dream, because you're eating wild game the whole time. You're out in the woods, you're getting, and we didn't know at the time that we'd need the social distancing, but we did. And then Gander comes in and we get the East to West Silver Lake, the 2020. And it was just perfect for us because we had our own room, a full bathroom. And then there was a bed, a couch at the back, which went down into a bed, and then a table that went into a bed. So we had our cameraman on the back couch, and then our mates that would come and turkey hunt with us. And it was absolutely perfect. We have room for everyone, full shower. I mean, I don't even want to think about what it would have cost us if we were staying in hotels the whole time. So
absolutely.
Effective. I mean, we were in and out of blizzards and all of this, and we were so comfortable in the camper. It was really perfect for us. I loved it.
How many turkeys did you end up storing in the camper, though?
Well, we ate them as we went. We've got all the fans, but
I'll tell you, that freezer holds about 6 breasted turkeys.
Yeah.
So you got to.
That's a selling point and a half right there. I mean, for the turkey hunter, get the East or West Silver Lake, at least 6.5 turkeys in the freezer.
Yeah, that
That's
little
all.
freezer, it looks small, but it jam packs a lot. It was great. And we went with wild game in the freezer as well. So we didn't have to go into one single grocery store. We just stayed and camped and ate out of the camper, and it was brilliant.
A lot of
That's
fish,
beautiful.
a lot of fish, and a lot of turkey meat.
Oh, see, yeah, we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. So, James and Ashley, that Sprinter fifth wheel, which I am a fan of, you know, we've actually chatted about that in the past. Why did you guys get started?
You want me to?
Go for it.
Similar situation, and we kind of like were almost forced into it. I had a career choice of either going back to my old job where I worked a ton, like 100 hours a week and whatnot, and missed out on the first couple years of my oldest life for the most part, or change lifestyles, be there for our second kid growing up and whatnot. And so I had heard about people living in RVs and traveling the country, and that was a thing. And we were actually already on YouTube at that point, just a very different style of content. And so we just decided to transition into RVing content, and it made sense. And we weren't sure realistically if we were going to like it or not, because we weren't really campers, but we gave ourselves like a 6-month deadline. Like, we got to hit 6 months, but we're well past that 6-month mark now. And we've been going,
Just a little.
and I honestly can't see like going back to brick and mortar, like sticks and bricks full time. It would be hard to not move around after doing this for so long.
Right. Now, you brought up a good point. Your job, you know, kind of transition. How do you kind of support yourself RVing? Can you have a full-time job while you're full-time RVing?
Yeah, we've met a lot of different people who do all sorts of different things. I mean, the fact that you got 4G internet almost everywhere you go these days really opens up the possibilities. We've met people who do like advertising jobs, who do just remote login jobs for any job you can imagine. And then there's a lot of people that do stuff like we do,
Lawyers.
social media, lawyers, random things.
Really?
There are so many job possibilities that you can do on the road these days.
Beautiful. Now, Zach and Mary, speaking of which, how do you guys kind of support, you know, yourselves while doing this full time? I know you have the podcast, you got the outdoor channel stuff, but how does that all kind of work into supporting yourself while RVing?
That's a good question. We got to figure that one out.
No, so we have actually halfway through our turkey tour, I started hosting a Friday night show on the Outdoor Channel, which was a live country music concert. And it was funny what you were saying just before about, you know, you've got the internet and then that's all good. So I was actually doing a television show out of the camper, and I would just set the back of the camper up with fairy lights and all of this stuff, and I'd be producing this show from it. So I mean, same sort of thing, really. As long as you've got internet and you can find places, I would hotspot off my phone as well. And then it was good. I mean, that's the beauty about it. You can be anywhere in that camper and still be making a dime. So it's great.
Yeah,
Right on.
video production. So if I travel and go work with somebody else, most of the time I'm flying anyway. So as long as I'm within an hour or two of an airport, you know, I'm fine. So,
but I mean, at the moment, our thing is we've taken the turkey tour and now we're making it into a yearly tour where it's just hunting and fishing all year round. So we're going to be creating content from the camper regardless.
Right. Now, besides, you know, sitting at a beautiful winery in Colorado, Heath and Alyssa, how do you guys support yourself full-time RVing? Can you tell I'm jealous, by the way? I mean, can you tell, do you pick up the hint of jealousy I have right now?
I heard it.
Yeah, it's kind of changed. Like our first year on the road, we kind of like what Zach said. It's like we didn't really know. It's like we had a runway of finances. We weren't wealthy. We basically said, hey, whenever we hit this point, we have an emergency fund. And then if we can't figure this out, we have to go back home and just get jobs again. And that's kind of the worst case scenario. We had a fun honeymoon. But that first year, we built up skills in video. And then we started kind of freelancing video for clients, sharing our story on social media, ended up kind of interviewing other people on how they were making money on the road through the RV Entrepreneur podcast. It turned into a conference. And so we had like 400 people registered this year of coming in who have all different kinds of jobs. Like Zach and Mary said, everything from lawyers to doctors and app developers, small business people running 60-person teams and doing it from their RV as they travel the country with their family. And then my day job is I have a software company. We built a campground reservation system. So this whole lifestyle has like kind of helped discover, like we love being outside. We love RVing and traveling to new places. and kind of finding different needs within the industry that we can help fill, if that makes sense. Alyssa wrote a book, a lot of hats, I guess. Yeah.
We've done a lot.
Well, I was gonna say, it sounds like a lot of it is tech based, and you guys just did the RV show with the 400 participants. You did that virtually, right? You did that from the camper.
We were scheduled to host our fourth conference.
Yeah, it was going to be our 4th annual RV Entrepreneur Summit, and it was going to be our biggest one yet. We were really, really excited. Like, we already had 100 people there on site, and then the CDC was like, no more than 10 people, and we were like, okay, sorry everyone, this year we can't hang out with you, and so we just live streamed it all from a studio in Alabama, and it worked out great, and everyone could still tune into all of the sessions online, that we didn't get that, in-person camping together fun.
It was kind of anticlimactic. It was weird. It was the week that like Tom Hanks got COVID and everything, like the MLB canceled, and like that was the pivotal moment. And all these people were already at the campground, like ready to go, and we just had to leave. It was a weird time for everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, we just sorted through it best we could. But yeah.
You brought up a really good point about, with the people and with the camaraderie that you face and get a chance to experience while you're out there in the RV life. Have you met a lot of friends while RVing, like new friends?
I don't think we really have any friends that don't RV.
That sounds bad. Like, there's a bar that like people need to check. No, I think for us, it started after a certain period of time. We still enjoy the lifestyle. We like traveling. We've done a good bit of international RVing now too, because it's a fun way to travel and go see other places in the world. But a big reason for us why we still travel is like we're at this harvest host right now, but 2 of our friends are parked behind us in their campers. So a lot of it for us is we used to prioritize where we wanted to go. Like we want to go to Alaska, or we want to spend a fall in the Northeast. Now it's where can we go to spend more time with our friends and our buddies as we travel across the country, or, take a trip with our family, or like have one of your siblings come and hang out with us. And that's been an interesting thing, not just from a friend perspective, but also it's been interesting from a business perspective too, because you can roll into a town and people are so much more likely to say, hey, I'm here in your city. Let's have a coffee or a beer or something like that. And so it works on both the friendship and professional level, I'd say too. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Zach and Mary, I know you guys mentioned that when you have friends come join you for the turkey hunt, that's awesome. But while you've been traveling, have you had a chance to meet some new friends out there as well?
Every stop, every single stop. We've made friends with every single campground, every single stop. I mean, there is nothing better than the rural communities in the USA. I swear, every small town, they're just hearts full of gold. We were up in Hewlett, Wyoming, and we were meant to be doing the Old West Invitational Turkey shoot, where all the money from that shoot goes to the community center. They raised $300,000 in that shoot, and it goes for all the kids' activities and everything for the year. And so that got canceled because of COVID. But I said to them, look, I still want to come and help promote the tourism in your town, because I know this is such a big thing. And so we went and we got to hang out with these farmers, and like I said, everywhere. And a lot of our friends have RVs too. And one of our friends' turkey hunting camp down in Florida is actually an RV turkey hunting camp. And before we had even got our RV, we got inspired from his, because it was super cool. He has these 2 RVs there, this beautiful campfire, and then it's just like alligators and all this stuff. And we were like, this is such a cool way to do a turkey hunting camp. I'd never thought about it. So no, we've definitely got a lot of it around us. And yeah, you meet mates everywhere. It's great.
Now, James, I've seen some of your helpful tip videos. We're going to call them that. But I know for a fact you and Ashley have met some friends on the road too.
Yeah, it's been great. And actually the cool thing is when you can meet someone in one state or one place, and then 6 months later or even a year later, you've kept up maybe on social media, but you haven't seen them in forever. But then you meet them on the opposite side of the country. Like I've met people on road dirt bikes on the East Coast, and then all of a sudden we're doing it in Arizona or something like that. So it's really cool to have not only the RVing community, but just the travel, I guess, community as a whole. I'll bring up Tennessee. Tennessee was a very interesting trip for us. We were really excited about it. In fact, Ashley was super stoked to go to the Grand Ole Opry.
Ooh.
And then all sorts of crap happened. That we were in a mall when there was a shooting, and we had our 2 little girls with us. A tire blew out on our truck. The dirt bike fell off the back of the fifth wheel.
On the interstate.
On the highway. I was rotating my tires on my own because I was trying to be all handy, and I split my finger open on a nail in a tire. It was just a bad week. That was all like within like a few days. But then this sweet old couple at the park we were at is like, he saw that my tires were off my rig and my hand was split open, and he's like, "Here, man, take my keys. There's a tire shop, you know, over there." Like, he was offering. I had just met this guy and talked to him briefly, and he was offering to give me his truck and like drive, like,
but not come with him. Just let him take the truck.
It's crazy the kindness that you can find in this country, in this, with these travels, because it's easy to get jaded and be like, people are jerks, but there is such a great community out there, and we have experienced it big time when traveling around.
If you ever need to like restore your faith in humanity, I feel like the RV community can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think all of you guys would kind of resound that and probably have a like story, that the RV community has helped you in one way or another, right? I mean, Heath and Alyssa, I know we talked about some of the experiences you guys had. You guys have found the same thing, that the RV community is just awesome.
It's probably one of the, like, almost similar story, but one time we parked on a hill with our propane fridge. And if you have a propane on your fridge, it's not supposed to be off level a ton. We did
3 degrees,
yeah,
like variance.
and
if
we
you go
did,
beyond that, you're gonna blow up your fridge.
We didn't know that, and this was during that initial year, and we couldn't replace it easily. So I got on YouTube and I Googled, like, how do you fix this? And somebody recommended burping your fridge, which is kind of like burping a baby, but you take your fridge out.
It is nothing like burping a baby.
Well, now that we have one, I didn't know it at the time, but basically
you turn the fridge upside down, and that's supposed to fix it.
So, I mean, come on, Alyssa, we're dudes, fridges, baby. I mean, come on.
So, I'm trying to do this at a campground, and I'm not handy, but when you have an old RV, you kind of have to figure stuff out. And so there happened to be a mechanic on site at this campground, which you almost never find. And he basically just came over and just helped. And I don't think he would even accept
like
payment. And
3 of them to fill the fridge.
So we had a big hole in the side, but there were so many instances of like that, of people where you're just kind of at your wit's end. And there's this random person that's like, "Hey, I'm going to help you burp your fridge." And you're just like, "Thanks, buddy. I needed that."
How do you repay somebody to help you burp your fridge? I mean, is that
I think I gave him a beer, but maybe it was probably hot because our fridge was broke.
Now, Zach and Mary, what about you guys? Have you had a chance to experience how great the RV community is, and in the few months y'all were able to travel?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so we have a golden retriever, and he has come with us on this entire Turkey tour experience. And one of the things that I have found is, well, every RV park we went into was pet friendly, and I would make so many friends just taking him for a walk around. Like, if people like dogs, then they want to have a chat, and if they're in an RV park, they even want to have a chat even more. And so I really enjoyed that. I also really enjoyed when we were down in Georgia, we met a lot of the retiree couples that would jump from RV park to RV park and kind of do that. They go in and they look after the parks, and then they go to the next one 3 months later. And they were always super welcoming. We were pretty new to it, and we wouldn't know a lot of things about, even just the sewerage and stuff like that. And they would always kind of help us out as well. So
yeah, that was our first stop. We were at Reed Bingham State Park in South Georgia, and pulled in, and I still had no idea what we were doing. It was our first stop. And there was this older couple there that they were like, "Oh, let me help you." So yeah, very helpful.
Everyone.
So I want to take a quick minute too to remind everybody that while we're doing this live for the summer solstice, be sure to register for your chance to win those gift certificates. We're going to be giving away $1,500 coming up here pretty soon. Now, I got an unfair question, but I think it's one that, everyone is going to have a pretty good answer for. What are some of the lessons you've learned while full-time RVing? James and Ashley, I'm going to come to you guys first.
I was going to say, how many do you want? I mean, lessons. I think a big thing that people fall into when they first start full-timing is they feel like they got to go everywhere and see everything, and they're in what I call vacation mode. And you got to learn to have life mode. Like, if you are traveling, at least we experience this with kids, 2 kids and a dog. If you're traveling every few days and you're trying to go see all of this, and then like you have FOMO, fear of missing out, like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. Like, you one, you're going to burn out, and 2, you're not going to be able to sit back, relax, and enjoy it. So learning to pace yourself, learning to like, okay, we have, these 2 days are travel days. These days are chill days. We got to have work in there somewhere. We got to make a living. We got to like just being able to slow down and have a life pace instead of a vacation pace is really, I think, a big thing that everybody I know that's gone RVing falls into.
Right. Ashley, I mean, I know you've learned some things too now.
Kind of depends. I don't. That's like the big thing that we kind of took away from it. How to entertain children while driving for hours on end. That's a new one that I've got in my, trick bag. I think my biggest thing though is like walkie-talkies for backing up the trailer.
That was a technical thing. The
Yes.
first night we backed into an RV park, it was dark. We didn't know what we were doing, and we had no communication. So that first night backing up was rough. So
It was raining.
Oh yeah, that was.
So walkie-talkies. I mean, it doesn't seem like it needs to be a thing, but for us it was a thing. Because when you don't have a phone and you don't want to go, back it up to the left, and what?
But that's such a beautiful sound.
Yes. Everybody loves it.
You can always tell the new RVers when they're doing that, when they're screaming at each other from the road.
That's beautiful. And you know what? You mentioned the kids. We're going to get back to the kids here in just a minute. All right, Heath and Alyssa, what are some of the lessons you've learned while RVing?
You want to go first?
Use the parking brake at all times. Use the parking brake, guys.
I feel like there's a story that could follow this that would make me look really bad.
Go for it. I want to hear it. We got to have it now.
So we're in a motorhome and we tow a Honda CRV behind our motorhome. And one day we were parked on a hill and Heath was detaching the car.
I feel like you can give a little bit more context.
No,
Now.
We're on a hill. Here's the RV. Here's the car. Here's the very busy interstate right next to us. So he doesn't put it in park or pull the parking.
I took a photo.
There's no way the parking brake was on, because as soon as he detaches the bars from the car, it shoots down the hill backwards, goes across I-35, and then ends up in a ditch, like barely like hitting a rock wall. It ran over our bicycles that were like on the back of the car and like slowed it down. Magically, we just hit a gap in traffic and no one hit our car. Our car was fine. But if you use your parking brake, you will not have a story like that.
This is also what not to do while out RVing. I did several days of long driving. This only happened once.
It used to happen once.
I know, I agree. Yeah.
But you know what? If you didn't do it, then you wouldn't have these stories, right?
Exactly.
Exactly.
It was a terrifying moment. I'm like chasing the car down the hill in my flip-flops. My wife is like 8 weeks pregnant, or not even that, like chasing after. I'm telling her to stop. The door's locked. I'm like, feels like a scene from a movie. Like there should be a laughing track going on, but it wasn't funny at all. I was terrified. I don't think I've ever been so scared in my life. I'm like waving at cars.
It was 2 years ago.
It gives me anxiety. Yeah.
I can see just talking about it. It's breaking you up. Now, Zach and Mary, what about you? What lessons have you guys learned?
I think one of the big ones for me, which I learned pretty quickly, was being prepared for the right equipment for an RV. So I really like to drink from my crystal wine glasses. Well, they don't go too good in an RV because they rattle around and get smashed. So I learned that really quickly. Go to Camping World, get the plastic glasses, plastic wine cups, and all the stuff that they buy there. They are made for campers. They are great. Learned that quickly. Also, make sure you have enough propane at all times, because if you're stuck somewhere where you're in a snowstorm or a blizzard, you might need that.
Right.
And I think another one that I learned really quick was to put a mattress in the RV.
Yep.
So and I did that about week 2. First off, I went to Walmart and I bought a blow-up mattress, which actually ended up being a single mattress. So when I pulled it out and Zach had a look at it, he was like, I can't believe I let you go to Walmart by yourself. And I'm just like, what are we going to do? At that time, thank goodness, we only had the one cameraman. So we just slept outside for a couple of days. But then I went and picked up our mattress from storage. once we had that, it was perfect. We had a good night's sleep the entire time. You don't have to move it again because it's there in the bedroom. And that was good. I think just setting yourself up properly from the beginning, if it's something that you're going to do long term, and then everything is smooth sailing.
Yeah. And for me, there's a whole lot of little ones, like how not to get sewage on your boots on accident. Yeah. Make sure the valve is closed.
Trust me, that just takes practice.
Yeah, but the other one to me was, man, we neither one of us had ever had a camper before. And I think if you don't have one, you're thinking about getting one, it can be intimidating. But for me, it was when we went to get it, we were at St. Augustine, Gander RV and Outdoor, and they had a service technician come out and he walked me through it and he explained everything about it. And, you know, that was really helpful. And it was kind of just, it's intimidating, but when they do that and you know you have somebody to call and ask, it really helped the whole process. And it wasn't as bad as what I thought it would be. And
pretty much what he's saying is anybody can RV. It doesn't take a magician. They go through it all for you at the store, and then the rest you just kind of figure out quickly on your way, or you go and actually look on the website and buy what they say on the website.
Right. Yeah, and it's funny, we actually have some tips and tricks coming up this week with the summer solstice tomorrow about, what are some RV essentials, what are some of the things you can do to take care of those campers. But I really don't think that our folks in service get the credit that they deserve a lot of the times, because that's world-class service that they have going on there, and they really deserve a tip of the hat a lot. But you guys actually bring up a really good point, because you're talking about the stuff you buy, the stuff you got to get, the cost to operate the RVs, gas, parking, etc. If you don't mind, talk about that a little bit, Zach and Mary. What have you found the cost to operate has been?
Ooh.
So, okay, you go.
Well, we were driving my old pickup. It was a 2004 truck that I had since college, and I said I was going to drive it till the wheels fell off, and I've kept that promise. But
that's the Silverado, right? That was the Silverado.
It was.
Yeah.
It was part of the story for the show. It was inbuilt as a character, and it was pushing 300,000, and it was 306 by the end of the tour. So you can imagine what that was like.
My friends basically made a bet that I wouldn't take it and that it wouldn't make it, and it did. So yeah. I win. But it's not enough truck for what we were pulling, probably. And I would say gas mileage was pretty dependent on the wind.
Yeah.
It is. It absolutely is. Yeah.
Yeah. Gas was a cost, and it varied.
But when we stayed in the national parks, forests, most of the time it was free, which is great. And then most of the RV parks we stayed in were probably around $45 a night. Not very expensive at all when you're comparing that to, and you're staying in your own home. So you don't have to go into a motel and have to worry about bed bugs or any of that. And with the social distancing stuff, you're using your own toilet the whole time, not having to go into gas stations. So I think it was pretty cheap in comparison to a hotel room for sure. 45 bucks a night. The gas was, what was it like to get to? From Kansas to South Dakota, it was $500, but in his old truck. So if you're pulling something that was decent, we're in a blizzard. So
we drove through a blizzard. And
we were driving like this against the wind. So
30 miles an hour.
Now, James and that's beautiful. James and Ashley, what about you guys? Because y'all have big old fifth wheel, cost to operate that. How's that?
It really honestly depends because it depends on what kind of travels you're doing. If you're the kind of people that go somewhere and stay there for a month, it's going to be way cheaper than if you're moving every couple days because of obviously gas and whatnot. But I would say on average towing, we get like 10 miles to the gallon towing our big fifth wheel. So not good, but not horrible. And then we try and do a lot of boondocking and whatnot as well, whether it be at BLM land or forest land, like they were saying. But you can, if you are frugal, you can do it fairly affordably. But you can also go the other way around. Like when we were in the Florida Keys, you can spend hundreds of dollars a night on an RV park, and it can become astronomically expensive depending on what kind of travels you're doing and where you're going. So it really just kind of depends on where you're going and the kind of travels you're doing. But you can spend a lot or a little.
I mean, that's having a good mix though. So you kind of get the best of both worlds when you're out there.
Yeah, which is what we try and do. We try and be frugal when we can, but like when we went to the Florida Keys, you can't really be frugal. That you don't really have any options. You're going and you're going to spend the money to do it there. So we try and do both. When we need to, we drop the cash to go to the places that we really want to go because the Keys was on our bucket list. But then there are other times where we were in southern Utah for like a month or two, and I don't think we've spent any money on a single campground the whole time we were there.
Oh.
So it really just kind of depends on what you're doing.
Nice. Now, Heath and Alyssa, you guys a little bit different. You got that big Class A diesel pusher. How about the cost of operating that one? How's that been factoring into things?
We've only had this rig since December, and so it got a lot less painful to fill it up with gas whenever gas dipped down a couple months ago. It's actually a really good time, I think, to drive a motorhome. But I also don't think most people pick up we had a 33-foot Class A gas before this diesel rig. And you just don't buy a rig like this for gas economy.
Oh, yeah, you definitely don't for gas economy. But we've been full timing for about 6 years now, and our costs have stayed pretty consistent on average throughout that time, as far as it being pretty steady for our basic expenses. Gas, RV parks, groceries, healthcare, all those things of being $2,500 a month for both of us.
Yeah. So our and it also changed. Like our first couple of years, we were trying to pay down student debt and trying to figure out how to get our business going.
Including paying student debt, but like our basic expenses of all the stuff that you actually need to spend each month was $2,500.
To go to all 50 states, our first year we did it in 53 weeks. It cost $23,000. And people, when you put something out there like that, there's a lot of RVers that are well seasoned that are like, it's so expensive. Yeah, that people can go really hardcore. It's almost like a fun competition for a lot of people that they can travel really cheap. But to echo what James said, I mean, it really just depends on your budget and what you're looking for, because there's a lot of great public lands in the US where you can go for free and use resources like Campendium and things like that. And you can go see if you have cell signal. You can read reviews from other RVers that tell you, go down this dirt road, it's going to get steep, but then it flattens out or something like that. And then maybe if you have a little bit more to spend, maybe you can go to the Florida Keys and live it up. It just depends.
Yeah.
Right. Now, we talked before too about some of the favorite moments that we've all had camping. What were some of you guys's, if you could make one favorite moment that you've had so far full-time RVing, what would it be?
Oh my God.
I'll have one. I have a good one.
Okay. Let's hear it.
It was like 2 months into RVing, or maybe like a month and a half, like after we hit the road. So we're still in this high honeymoon phase, and we're out on the Pacific Coast Highway. We've got this 29-foot RV. It's already broken down a couple times. So we're just grateful at the end of every travel day to have made it there. Literally, just like if we get there, we're so happy. And we didn't realize that when you're driving up the Pacific Coast Highway, in the summertime, all these state parks book out months in advance. And we were just newbies and we had no idea. And so literally we're driving along, beautiful views, but the sun's starting to set, and I'm pulling in every single campground, and they have signs that are like full. One of them said full, and full with an exclamation point in all caps. And then I pulled over at this one that was looking over a bluff overlooking the Pacific Coast Highway, or the Pacific Ocean. And I was like, I'm just going to go knock on the park ranger's door and just ask if anybody canceled or anything. And I come like galloping back out to the RV, waving my hands. I'm so excited. We found this awesome site. Somebody canceled. The park ranger was like, it's your lucky day. And we pulled in and just had this epic view. We're from Texas. I love queso. So I made some skillet queso. We sat outside and had this amazing sunset over the Pacific Ocean. We took a photo of the check that night. It was $25. I put the memo as Camp Awesome. And I just remember thinking this is so cool. That was a fun moment for me. Yeah.
That's queso. I was going to say, yeah, Texas, you better know how to make queso. We had that talk too. All right, James and Ashley, what about you guys? What's been one of your favorite moments?
Everybody always asks what's your favorite place you've ever been and whatnot, and I usually give the same answer. And one of my favorite moments of us traveling is when we went to southern Utah, because I have a dirt bike. We have a little tiny 50cc dirt bike for the girls, and it's like off-road paradise down there in Moab and whatnot. But also, I love it down there because you have so many parks. You have Arches, you have Canyonlands, you have Zion, you have the Bryce. There's so many places. And so we spent way longer there than we thought we were going to do, just because we loved it so much. And like I said, we didn't pay a dime. We just boondocked on BLM land and forest land and some of these gorgeous places that I didn't even know existed, or maybe I'd seen it, but I didn't know you could literally drive your rig there and park. It was pretty amazing. So whenever anybody asks where we want to go back to, I would love to go back there and do Zion again and go hike arches and whatnot. So
He needs a moment. It gets him every time.
getting excited. So anyways, that would be my favorite. What about you?
I mean, I loved Utah, but I also loved our first trip. Well, our first trip out of the state in California when we went to the Redwoods and we did the Fern Canyon.
Fern Canyon. Yeah.
Fern Canyon. It was amazing. You just walk through this creek and you've got ferns all the way up the side, and it's just another world is what it feels like. It's amazing.
You're in like this canyon with like 30-foot walls. It's where they film parts of Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It's amazing.
Wow. That's beautiful. Zach and Mary, what about you guys?
Wyoming.
Yours was Wyoming?
Yeah, we were in Wyoming, and our friend's ranch overlooks the Devil's Tower. And a couple of those nights, he had his motorhome parked up on this ridge top. We were parked right next to him, and it was perfect view of Devil's Tower. We had a campfire out there, and our friend from Tennessee came up and joined us. And just sitting around, he was playing country music for us, and that was cool to me. Just kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh, your own little private concert.
One of the things I forgot to add before about like what I, in terms of like staying in places for the outdoors men and women, one of the awesome conveniences of having an RV is you can just pull into somebody's farm and plug up to their barn. And so we did that quite a lot on there was about 3 or 4 destinations that we stopped at. We just plugged into people's barns, pole barns, and we stayed there, and then we hunted out of that.
We were
So
like
I thought
Uncle Eddie.
that was really cool too. Yeah. So if you, even if you go to somebody's hunting camp and there's a lodge there and you want to just stay in the camper, they will have a plug up for you on the barn. So I think that is really cool for any of the hunters that are watching right now. That's definitely something that I love. But one of the places I loved probably was down in South Georgia. We were in a state park down there, and that was the first time that we were down there, and they have all the cypress trees and everything like that. And it was before all the COVID stuff had really hit in. So we had all our mates there, and everybody came and hung out at the campground. We had a bonfire, and they all stayed the night in the camper, and it was kind of like in the old world before everything changed, So it was.
And that night, one of our friends threw a fireworks show for us.
That's right.
And, I'm from South Georgia, so I was showing her. I'm like, these are my people. And they had a full fireworks show. Dude came walking out with a control box with the buttons and was like, "Yeah, we're gonna blow some stuff up, man." That was fun.
So we just had a question come in, and it is, my husband and I are looking at buying a trailer this summer. Tips for a long road trip. I'm gonna get a smidge from all of you guys, but Zach and Mary, tips for a long road trip. I know y'all just came back from one.
You can go first.
Yeah, I think just do your homework and be prepared and know where you're going was the big one, because we were so last minute on everything, and we did run into some hiccups with that, especially with what's going on now. But yeah, just do a little bit of research was kind of my biggest thing, because we didn't.
And like I said before, just being prepared. If you're going to be on the road for a long time, have a mattress in there, get the right cutlery and crockery and all of that, so that you don't have things smashing around. Go to Camping World, do it the right way, and just be set up from the start of your trip so that you don't have to have any of those issues down the road.
And probably just listen to these guys that have actually done
Yeah,
it.
just listen to them.
Speaking of, Heath and Alyssa, what you got?
I think a big one is we listen to a lot of podcasts or like audiobooks and things, because if you're just sitting there like staring at the highway for hours on end, it's different now that I've got like a 1-year-old who requires my attention and constant like, here's a cracker and here's a toy, please don't cry, daddy's driving like 60 feet worth of machinery down the interstate right now. So being just like able to entertain yourself for long periods of time, or you could talk to your spouse, I guess. We can chat.
I would say for me, one of my big stressors with driving a bigger rig is my tires going out. And on our last unit, I installed a tire pressure monitoring system. And so you just have this little thing that'll go off if your tires get too hot or if the pressure gets too low. Because if you blow a tire, in a bigger rig, especially it could be pretty bad. And so for me, they're kind of pricey. They're like $400 or $500, but to me, that was really nice to have.
Cheaper than a tire.
Yeah, exactly. Or just like the stress of driving down the road. So that's a bit more on the practical side, but tire pressure monitoring systems are pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's a must have. Yeah, you're right. That's a must have. All right, James and Ashley, what about you guys?
I think we lost them.
Oh, did we lose them? Okay.
I'll be back in
Well, that's a great thing about technology and doing it live. But I was going to ask, you'd mentioned the kids. How do you keep the kids entertained while on the road and being in those confined spaces?
If you're happy and it, clap your hands over and over.
Yeah. I would say we drive during nap time, and a lot of our and I think any parent probably can reiterate this. It changes so quickly. So we've only had a kid for a year, and so I'm sure in a month it'll be different. But right now it's like drive during nap time, and that's usually a good strategy. So
right. Now, hey, James and Ashley, welcome back. Sorry about that. Tell me, so do you guys have any tips or, for a long road trip, and tips for parents who are trying to keep the kids entertained and schooled on the road? You knew that was coming. You knew it was coming.
I'll start answering. You get the kids' answer ready. Okay. So I always like to say, do as we say, not as we do, because we are not planners. We're like, okay, we know that in 2 months' time we want to be in Florida. Right now we're in Texas. What do we want to do in between? And then we usually just kind of go for it. Now, that can get you into trouble a lot of times because, like they were saying, things can book up, or there might be an event somewhere that you're unaware of. So the cool thing nowadays is there are so many apps out there that really let you plan things out and legit route plan and figure out, okay, I'm going to dump here. I'm going to fill up here. This is where I'm going to boondock. I'm going to stay here. So you can, if you're a planner, you can plan that thing out. But also what I like to tell people is don't be so strict with your plan that you're frustrated when it doesn't go according to plan. Because it won't go according to plan. Things happen. And so be flexible. And that will keep you from getting so frustrated and not enjoying your trip, because stuff happens. And so you got to be able to go with the flow. But what are your tips for kids?
Kids, truck snacks. It's a thing. Always. Make sure it's full. And it's not just for kids, it's for husbands.
I was going to say, that's an adult thing too. Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing.
always truck snacks. So our middle console is never not full. I always make sure I've got something in there.
Got trail mix, Cheez-Its, fishies, all
everybody's
sorts of
taken
stuff.
care of. And then also just being forgiving to yourself. You're gonna have tough days. Give yourself a break. Don't be hard on yourself. Everybody has a tough day. My 3-year-old is now coming out again.
Well, I mean, she sees mommy and daddy hanging out and having a good time. She wants to be part of it. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
But it's just making sure that there's something new for them. So we trade out all of the coloring books, all of the books, all the toys every week, so that there's something new and exciting the next week. And that way it's just kind of a rotation, kind of like what you might do with toys at a house. And we do that with our truck.
Yeah, that's a great tip.
Yeah, and everybody has their drinks and all the good stuff. Gotta have water on the road because you don't want to hear I'm thirsty.
So those are great tips. I always just tell my kids that, if they don't quit acting up, I'm just going to leave them at the next stop. That might not be the right thing to do. I'm just saying.
It could be effective. I don't know.
I mean, it's been effective, but also use that dad voice really effectively. So Zach and Mary, you guys just bought your first RV not that long ago. What type of RV would you recommend to somebody who's looking to buy one for the first time?
I think that the Silver Lake East to West, which is it depends on how many people that you have. So for us, there was the 2 of us. It has a bedroom, and then it really sleeps up to 6 people. Yeah, 2, 4, 6. So depending on how many people that you have, that one worked really well for us because we wanted our own bedroom, we wanted a full bathroom, and then it's got the kitchen island seating and chair and 2 couches on the side. So that was very comfortable for about 4 to 6 of us.
I think it's just be realistic about what you can actually tow with what you have, and they'll let you know, and how much room you actually need. And I think we learned pretty quick how much stuff you don't need.
Right.
So, I don't know. We don't have as much experience as these guys, so we're looking at the travel trailer as being pretty awesome. So,
can I add one quick thing in, because I heard you guys telling that story before about being forgiving, and I have a really funny story to share with you guys about Zach getting a busted tire when we were in South Dakota. So always have spare tires, like before. Always have spare tires. Will, do you want to tell the story?
Yeah, we drove down the road. I had a tire blowout on the truck, full blowout, and we pulled off the side of the road. And I was like, "Oh, I'm prepared. I had just bought a new floor jack. Everything was good." I got out, and Mary always says it's not the destination, it's the journey. But sometimes we don't follow that, and we get in a hurry.
My dad always said the journey is more important than the destination, and so I would say that throughout the whole trip, even when things were really stressful.
Sometimes we didn't follow that, and when you get tired and you're moving fast, you do stupid stuff. So I get out with my brand new floor jack and I go to jack the truck up, and I'm like, "No, this jack is a piece of junk. Why?"
He literally
it's brand
said,
new.
"No one is this strong. No one can possibly be this strong."
And I sit there cranking on. No one's strong enough to jack up a truck with this piece of junk. And then I look back and I'm like, "Oh, the camper."
The camper was still hooked up. I was rolling, laughing on the side of the road while these semis, FYI, do not think that the semis are going to pull over into the left lane. They're not. So beware, and always have somebody watching for the trucks coming in the background as like the guard, because it's a dangerous situation. But that was really funny.
Just had to derail the whole topic.
Zach can't lift over 1,000 pounds, guys.
I'm so weak.
I mean, either that or you just get a stronger pneumatic jack. I mean, that's just, it's just kind of what we got to go with.
Need one of those.
All right. Now, let's say I'm looking at a motorized unit. Heath and Alyssa, you guys got some experience there. What would you say to a first-time buyer?
I would say get something smaller, just because unless you do like a driving school, the idea of like driving just like a 30-foot motorhome off the lot is really intimidating. A lot of people will hit like the corners of like gas pumps or like mailboxes, things like that. So getting something that's a little bit smaller. Plus, if you are doing it for weekend trips or even just like a 1 or 2 week vacation throughout the summer, you'll probably be wanting to spend more time outside, because that's a big perk of being in the RV, right? Like it's taking you to these gorgeous places where you want to be outdoors and in nature. So if you get something smaller, it's easier to drive, easier to maneuver, and there's less to clean up because you've got less floor space. So, little perk.
Right. Heath,
Yeah,
I would. Add on to that? Did you say that?
Yeah, I would echo that, and I would also say like we spent the last couple of years we did RVing in New Zealand and Italy, and we had a 23-foot motorhome. And so when we've been in the States, we had a much bigger unit. And so for me, it's about, I would say, how are you going to use it? When we had a 23-foot rig and we were in these far reaching parts of New Zealand or Canada, I loved the access that we had. We could go anywhere. I could pull into a grocery store and I didn't have to worry about taking up 5 lanes. It was amazing.
I like your definition of anywhere is I could go to the grocery store.
Hey, that's and so for me, and it was a trade-off, right? So it's like if we stayed somewhere for longer than a day in a 23-foot unit, it felt a little small. But my drive days felt like I was driving a car. So I had less stress on drive days, a little bit more like anxiety if we're sitting in a place for more than a day. Now with a bigger unit, takes a little bit more intentionality to pick up and go. It's not a big deal. But when we're parked, when we're parked, the opposing slide outs are amazing. So I just think it's how you want to use it. What do you want to do? You know what I mean? So
absolutely. All right. Now, James and Ashley, I'm looking at a fifth wheel. First time buyer. What would you tell somebody?
I think they've hit on some really good points. It really kind of depends. Are you going to be like a weekend warrior going out for trips? Are you full timing it? Do you have kids? Are you a single dude? Are you a married couple? I mean, there's so many different options, because I agree. You want to be as small as you possibly can for maneuverability to get into national parks and for boondocking. But if you have 2 kids, you also are going to want some space. Sometimes you just need to tell your kids to go play in their room, and then actually have a room to send them to is great. Like that was why we intentionally found a rig that had a door on the kids' room and a door on the master bedroom. So we have our space, kids' space, and then we also have
it's like separated.
Yeah, they're at the back, we're at the front, and then we also have the middle section, which is the dining, living, which we're now in the kitchen. Also my office, like everything in the middle here. So it really kind of depends on, I guess, what you're doing, because we've met some people on some even bigger rigs, 45-foot big toy haulers. But then we've met one family that was in like a 30-foot travel trailer, but they had 5 kids
Something like
and
that.
a dog.
2 dogs
And so
and a cat.
I like took my hat off to them because they were 6 feet shorter than us in a travel trailer with twice the amount of kids.
And she was pregnant.
Yeah.
I'm like,
But they made it work. So I couldn't do that, and I probably couldn't do van life either, but I would say go as small as you can without making yourself miserable.
Right. So does it sound like they were also working miracles? So those have all been great tips and tremendous stories, but I can't let you guys get away tonight without one more question, and real quick. One essential that you have to have in your RV. James and Ashley, what is it?
oh no.
Oh, man.
I know my Instapot.
Okay.
When it's fall, it's soup season, and I gotta have it. So
I mean, it's a must-have.
yes, for me.
James, what you got?
I would say a generator is a great thing because we love boondocking and going out to remote places and whatnot. And so if you don't have the money or time to invest solar and battery banks, a generator is a great, simple way to allow you to get out and get to some of these places, which are amazing.
Yeah.
Right on. Heath and Alyssa, both you guys give me something that you absolutely got to have.
You have to have the coffee maker that does not require electricity.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Good one.
For me, Wi-Fi jetpack. I mean, I know some people go
A cellular.
cell hotspot. So since we run our business on the road and do it full time, like we have to have it. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Zach and Mary, you're up to bat.
A good grill, because you know,
that's
we are cooking inside of a small space too much, and especially me cooking, there's smoke involved. So having a good grill outside of the propane hookup was nice.
Yeah. I would say for me, the propane, because
That one
when
cold
it's
night.
freezing cold and I'm thinking going into deer season, I'm really going to want to have a hot shower when I get back. And if we're, boondocking, I'm either going to stink for a week or I'm going to be clean. So the propane. I did want to add one more thing in though. Sorry about the last topic. As much as I love the one that we have now, I'm thinking that for the outdoors men and women, a toy hauler would be really cool because you could use that back room as a mud room.
Yep.
And so that's what I'm thinking. If we do an upgrade, that's what I would do, because then you don't have to bring any of the mud into the actual camper. You can put a heater in there, set it up how you want, and then just strip off and get clean into the actual camper.
Absolutely. I always say about toy haulers, they call it the garage for a reason. Yes, you can park something in there, but you can use it for whatever you want. It's your garage. So, guys, Heath and Alyssa, Zach and Mary, Chicks Life, James and Ashley, thank you guys so much for joining us for the kickoff here for Summer Solstice. Y'all have been absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you guys again very soon. And as always, have fun doing the RV life. We can't wait to see where the adventures take you, and look forward to talking to you all very soon. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Chris.
Yes.
Thanks, guys, for joining.
So hopefully
that has been something that was helpful for you guys. And I'm willing to bet anyway, you got the bug, didn't you? You got bit by the RV bug, and now you're interested in what can I do? That's why we got Summer Solstice taking place. Tomorrow, kicking up at 10 o'clock, we're going to give you a day full of information that's going to cover everything from travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes. What are some RV essentials? What's it like to dry dock and boondock? What do I need? How can I take care of my RV? And then a very special session with our CEO, Marcus Lemonis, who's going to give you the golden opportunity. You do not want to miss that. So thank you so much for joining us here for the kickoff to the Summer Solstice. And of course, I had mentioned I have some giveaways. I got some $250 gift certificates that I'm going to give away. And remember, the names that I call out, you're going to get a $250 gift certificate, and you can also get one for your friend. Yep, you're getting two. So first one up, Mildred Thomas. Mildred, thank you so much for your questions tonight here at the kickoff for Summer Solstice. Congratulations, you just scored yourself a $250 gift certificate. Brenda Cushman, congratulations. Thank you for your question as well. You scored yourself a $250 gift certificate plus one for your friend. And Gail bet you just got yourself a $250 gift certificate that you can also give yourself and your friend one as well. Thank you very much for your question. We appreciate all of you joining us here tonight for the kickoff to Summer Solstice. I'm Chris Young from Camping World and Gander RV and Outdoors. It's the year of RV travel. Tune in tomorrow at 10 because we got some stuff that's really going to make you say, I got to get my RV right now. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.